Welkom terug, man. Nou gesels ons lekker met die uithouvermoë fietsryer Tegan Phillips. Sy kuier vanmôre by ons spesifiek omdat sy vir die eerste keer van Cairo tot in Kaapstad alleen solo gaan fietsry. Die heel eerste keer wat dit opgeteken gaan word, haar tyd 'n rekord opgestel word, een vir die boeke. Welcome, Tegan.
Thank you. Hi.
One for the records, eh?
Hopefully, yes.
The first recorded solo trip from Cairo to Cape Town by a woman.
Yeah.
I mean, why hasn't there been one before? I mean, the men do it. Why haven't any woman decided, listen, I'm going to record this one?
Yeah, I was thinking about that, and I think it's because, so as you mentioned earlier, there's a lot of women that have done the route, and there's a lot of women in the world who are more than capable of setting a very, very fast record for this. But I think that the women who've cycled the route before have wanted to explore Africa while they've done it, which is great.
It wasn't for timing purposes.
Yes, and I think the women who do just enjoy riding 300 k's a day for pleasure, there's not many of them.
But there are.
But they mostly live in Europe and the USA, and I think that they kind of tend to ride in the places they feel familiar with and comfortable with, and I think there hasn't been that overlap of women who want to ride and suffer and women who feel comfortable like in doing that in Africa. And I happen to, I'm from Africa and I've cycled a lot, and so this is my home turf, so I think I'm just the first one where there's that little
So you enjoy the little bit of suffering and the Africa.
I think it's a lot of suffering. Yeah.
So why did you decide, when did you decide, okay, you know what, I'm going to try this, let's go for it?
I think it was, so in 2015, my family, my parents and my sister and I, we spent a year just cycling through Africa slowly. And during that year, so Keegan Longera, the South African, set the men's record. And then immediately afterwards, Mark Beaumont set the men's record again. And then the men just kept doing it. And we were watching, we were obviously riding there. And for one, I found it so inspiring, like watching them do it and seeing how they were suffering and the terrain. And I thought, like, oh, that's incredible. Like, you know, it would be more inspiring is if I could see a woman doing that. So I started to Google what the women's record was, and I saw there wasn't one. And I thought, well, maybe that's an opportunity for me to be that woman for more women, to just be a relatable figure doing something like this, where women can look and see, like, if she's taking on a challenge like this, not even necessarily to complete it, but just to take it on, and she's like me, then, you know, what sort of things can I maybe take on? So.
I think just your will to start this whole process, to attempt it, already it just deserves so much respect, and you've got all my appreciation for attempting this. But I mean, I'm saying attempting because you're about to do it, you're going to do it, you're planning on doing it, but there are so many obstacles and hurdles in the way, logistically, financially. There's a long list, but let's just talk about the logistics. How do you get to Cairo? This is with no cycling. How do you get to Cairo without getting past the thing that you need a return ticket? And how do you travel in Egypt without a police escort? Because they always cover everyone in police escorts. How do you get past that?
I mean, so we booked tickets for me and one support member and one crew member to fly to Cairo. We booked those tickets 2 days ago, which is very exciting. And yeah, one-way tickets. And then we will have to have those police escorts because they don't let you ride without them.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll just organize. We're looking for, at the moment, a tour guide who is local, who can just ride with us to slightly make that process a little bit faster. Because I think, yeah, it is a sort of frustrating delay in Egypt. But I think, yeah, as we were discussing earlier, that the biggest challenge for me, I've hardly been thinking about Egypt because of just focusing on Ethiopia. At the same time, so while we fly to Cairo, we've got 2 vehicles that Toyota and a Toyota dealership have sponsored that are going to drive up, and we can get them, so ideally it's that we can meet them, and then those will be the support vehicles for the trip. But yeah, we've recently learned we can't get those vehicles into Ethiopia, so it's quite a logistical, yeah, a challenge, because with this renewed civil war in Ethiopia happening now, it's like, can we ourselves even get in? Can I get in with a bicycle? To hire vehicles there is astronomically expensive. So yeah,
Yeah.
we're just going to try and, I think, worst case scenario, we're going to start. I know we can get through Egypt. I know we can get through Sudan. Then at the border, I think we're just going to hustle and hopefully not lose too much time. And just, even if we have to jump in with some of the rebel group and sit on the back of the truck with the guns, hiding my bike, and then get through. Obviously not taking risks that would be, stupid.
Yes,
but
yes.
just going to try. If anybody has contacts in Ethiopia that could maybe help us with a vehicle, that would be very, very appreciated.
Yeah.
I love that, how you go, oh, we're just going to get to the border and hustle and see what happens.
But that's traveling Africa.
Yeah, that's exactly. What are some of the other countries you have to travel through?
So it's Egypt, Sudan, Ethiopia, and then from there, it's actually, I've cycled all of those countries. It's Kenya, Tanzania, Zambia, Botswana, and then home, South Africa. And I think those ones should be fine, although you never know. There's a few elephants wandering around Botswana, which we'll have to ride with, which is always scary for me since being chased by elephants there before.
Oh, yeah, before you get to NATO, there's a bit of an elephant issue there.
Yes, yeah.
And this is over 10,000 kilometers.
Yeah, it's 10,800, yeah.
10,800.
Oh, my goodness.
How do you train for something like this? Because, I mean, I suppose you have to train. You can't just get on a bike and go, I'm going to ride 11,000 kilometers.
Yeah, I mean, you can, but it probably won't go very well. And I think, so the training that I've done has been a lot of just trying to figure out how to avoid injury. I think that's the main thing, where it's not like we're going for riding super fast, but it's just how do you, a lot of gym to just strengthen the muscles. And then I've actually spent the American summer in Arizona now, riding in the desert sort of every day, doing these blocks of trying to ride 200-300 Ks a day in 40-degree heat.
My goodness.
Just practicing what that feels like and acclimatizing the body, and just riding a lot, learning how to eat that much food without getting sick, to not run out of, so it's training these sort of small, very unglamorous things. It's like I'm not making any PBs on the local roads, but just practicing those long hours without falling asleep, essentially.
And this is a solo record, so you'll be pedaling on your own.
Yeah.
But there will be a support crew.
Yes.
In a vehicle, not next to you on a bicycle.
No.
You'll be on the bicycle, you'll be on your own, but there will be a support crew as well.
Yes. Yeah. Just some of my crazy friends who come on board to come help. Yeah, which is very exciting.
How many kilometers do you have to cover per day?
Sure. Well, so Guinness has said, when I applied for the record, my application was accepted, and they've said 75 days is their maximum cutoff for the women's record. The men's record is 41 days. I would love to try and get as close to the men's record as I can, which will depend on what my body can do and also just on the logistics. If we get arrested for 5 days, then that will impact that. But I think at the moment, the current plan we've got is riding about averaging 280 kilometers a day.
Wow.
Which
280 kilometers a day, and you say you want to get close to the main, so that's like 42 days, give or take. So for 42 days, 280 kilometers a day.
Just to put it in context, 280 kilometers a day in Africa in a car is a stretch, is an extreme stretch. Wow. I mean, you've been practicing these ridiculous distances in Arizona now. But physically, do you feel you're up for it?
I think so, yeah. It's difficult to say, but I'm focusing a lot on trying to just reduce stress, and keep. You don't want to go in fatigued, obviously.
Yes.
I'm about to do one last kind of big training block of riding, say 200-300 Ks a day in Cape Town for a week. Just going over Chappies, Sekebosi and back. So if anybody is in Cape Town that wants to join for that's where I'll be.
Yes.
The last week of September. But yeah, I mean, it's hard. I think a lot of people, sometimes you go into this thinking you're 100% ready, and then 3 days in your Achilles snaps or something. But I know I have done, for 2 years now, I've been training for this, to be riding to the Namibian border and back, riding just 500-kilometer loops around the block when it was lockdown, and just different ways. So I'm feeling ready.
You seem ready and calm.
Yeah.
You seem very calm about and casual about this. So I'm just doing 11,000 kilometers. You know, it'll be fine. So we really hope, like, all the best. Will you be documenting it in the sense that you'll be posting anything on social media that people can follow your journey?
Yes, yeah, absolutely. So it'll be on Instagram and Facebook on my channels. That's at Tegan Phillips. It's at Tegan Phillips Comics.
Yeah.
And then, we'll also have like a live track and everything on my website. So that's teganphillips.com/record. And that page will go live just before we leave.
Wow.
teganphillips.com/record.
Yeah. And we'll
Record.
also probably have some updates on the crowdfund page because half of our budget has pretty much come from
Crowdfunded.
just South Africans being like, oh, we want this to happen. We want a South African to have the record. So the link for that is matchkit.co/Tegan/crowdfund.
And people can go and then share a bit and put some money down to help you make your dream come true.
There's a nice little video on that page that gives a little bit more info about everything.
Tegan, we can't wait to follow you, and we're all very optimistic that everything will turn out positively. And we know traveling Africa is quite a challenge, but we always find a way around. Thank you very much for joining us this morning, for getting up so early. You're probably going to get up this early in any case when you travel through Africa.
Yes, yeah, we'll start at 4 every day, I think.
My goodness. So this was also a bit of practice.
Yes, exactly.
Yes. Thank you very much. Ja, wys jou, nee? Enigiets kan gedoen word. Trapfiets. Tegan Phillips wat van Cairo tot in Kaapstad met 'n fiets in 'n rekordtyd gaan aflê. Die eerste keer wat 'n vrou se rekordtyd opgeneem gaan word. Dis wonderlik.